And hi, folks on Zoom. I'm Claire, your program director, and we've got a few folks on Zoom and a few here in the audience. So we're always practicing this hybrid technology stuff. So I've got a handout from Mary Ann that I'm going to send you electronically later. And then I'm going to hand it off to Mary Ann Borkert, who's a self-taught expert in all kinds of low vision workarounds. So we're glad she wanted to share stuff with us today. And here you are. Here.
Okay, well, this is going to be not exactly as planned because I did do a PowerPoint, but forgot it. Forgot to take it out of the computer to bring it with me today. So we do have the handout, and it's divided into topics, but I can't read it very well. So first of all, I'm going to give you a little information about myself, which a lot of you probably know. I have macular degeneration. I was diagnosed 30 years ago or so, and it's just been the last 10 years that I've really had problems. First of all, with lighting, adding more light, adding my magnifiers, and then pretty soon I couldn't read anymore. And I knew I was going to have to stop driving, but I didn't really think about the fact that I wasn't going to be able to read, which has been very interesting. So I really like the places online and books that you can get that read out loud to you, so the audiobooks and things like that. And there are a lot of other, that's part of what I would call workarounds, ways to make things happen, even though you can't do it in your own brain anymore. So aging eyes, we've all got them. Everybody's eyes change as we get older. You do need more light. It takes longer for your eyes to adjust when you come into a dark room. It's, things are happening and you just think, oh, I can deal with this. And so you do, and you make things work for you. And then pretty soon things get a little bit worse. So you keep going to your eye doctor and get new prescriptions. And for most people, that works. That really is helpful. But there are a lot of other things that can make your life a little bit easier, whether you are diagnosed with a medical condition or not. And so that's what I want to talk about today is just what are the kinds of things that I found that are helpful in being able to kind of continue the things that I used to be doing. So one of the things that has bothered me the most lately is updates on my iPhone. Apple has updated the version on the phone, and things have they decided to start from scratch, essentially. And I've been on the phone with Apple support for, 3 different times, and I've got a list of questions to ask them still. And it turns out that my Alexa devices, they've changed things on that as well, just about all in the same week. And Microsoft, I use PC, and Microsoft Word and other things are a little different. And I'm telling you all this because today I was trying to do, or this week I was trying to do a PowerPoint for this talk. And PowerPoint is part of Microsoft and my Microsoft Office software. And it's a lot different than it used to be. I used to teach classes in PowerPoint, but boy, they're throwing AI in, and I just want to do what I want to do and not have other stuff pop up on the screen. Anyway, so it took me a lot longer to do a PowerPoint. And then when my ride came today, I still hadn't quite finished, and I did that and transferred it to a flash drive and put my code on and left. Didn't take it out of the computer. So we are just talking today, but that's okay because there's a long list of things that I want to get through. So I'm telling you all this partly because there are times when you just get frustrated with what isn't working the same way it used to be. And it's, I guess what I put on this sheet is what makes you go bonkers? I don't know what that word bonkers means, but I think we all understand. And it's helpful to recognize what your frustrations are and say, there ought to be a better way to do this. And just because I can't see what I'm doing doesn't mean I can't do it. And a silly story, but one of the earliest times that I was thinking this, I was trying to put toothpaste on my toothbrush. And some of you have heard this story before, but the toothpaste wouldn't go right on the toothbrush itself, or I'd get too much on there, or the toothbrush color would be blue and the toothpaste color was blue, and I couldn't see what I was doing. Finally, I said, I shouldn't be frustrated about this. I'll just put the toothpaste on my tongue. And so I do put the tube up to my tongue, and I put the toothpaste right in my mouth. And that takes care of that few seconds. It's not a huge time saver, but takes away the frustration. So there are other things that you can figure out for yourself. And I want to encourage you to do that. But there are things around the house that are not only good for helping your vision, but also making you more safe in your house. And a few of those are, I've got a picture that I was going to show you that is of my front steps and the door. And I had one railing when the house was built. A few years ago, I decided that, well, I've got a lot of older people coming to visit me, and they might need a railing on the right-hand side as well. So I had one put in about 3 years ago. And sure enough, I use it all the time. I use both of them. You never know where you're going to be holding something in your other hand and when you're going to need it. So railings on stairs are really important as we get older. Just an older thing, not necessarily a vision thing, but it helps. Another thing is that it's really important to be able to see the edge of your stairs. And I have put duct tape on my painted stairs at home. And that is really good. There's tape on the stairs that go down to the garage, right at the edge of the stairs. I've done it at the church I go to, because there's one area that's just in the shadows all the time, but it needs lighting up. You've got to be able to, you may not get to the light switch before you go down the stairs. And so it's really important to have the edges of your stairs darker or lighter or whatever. Heather. The comment was that she's been doing this at her parents' house and using duct tape that comes in all different colors and patterns even to put at the edge of stairs. So whatever you can do to increase the contrast, that's one of the things that goes for a lot of us is being able to see things that are light blue on white or something like that is not as visible as dark blue or black on white. Just increasing contrast in the anything that you look at is really helpful. So whether you're doing it yourself or you find it on a website that just you can't read it anymore, tell them about it. And sometimes they'll get back and say thanks, and sometimes they don't respond, but it's worth telling people what you can see and what you can't. Another thing that's in the picture is groceries that are by the front door. And I've started ordering groceries online and having them delivered. And that is a wonderful service. The websites at Safeway and Fred Meyer are not as good as they used to be, but it is fairly easy to order online. I just did an order this morning and it will be delivered this afternoon between 4 and 5 or something like that. But that is something that is nice. I mean, there are a lot of volunteers and friends and neighbors and family who can help you with that, but sometimes it's nice to be able to do things yourself. And that's one of the things that's been real handy for me. Around the house, once you get in the house, we've been outside here. Once you get in this house, one of my favorite things is rubber dots, and a lot of you have heard me talk about that. There are, if you know, on your cabinet doors in the kitchen, quite often there will be rubber sticky things at bottom corners or at the corners so that the doors don't slam. And sometimes they show up on, if you have a picture framed, they'll be on the bottom corner of the picture so that hanging a picture on a hook or something, sometimes it's slanted because the hook sticks out a little bit. But if you put little rubber dots on the bottom corners, it makes the picture hang flatter. But there are lots of uses for this for those of us with low vision, and lots of use for rubber dots. I have some here for the folks who are here in person. I'd be glad to send some to anybody who contacts me. My phone number is 907-888-2972. It's in the handout that Claire's going to send out. My email is maborche@gmail.com. And the rubber dots are really handy. I've got little packages of 3 different sizes, so you can use them for things related to low vision or not. I have them on, for instance, the dial on my stoves at 350, so I don't have to get the magnifying glass out to see where I've turned the dial to. 375 is a little bit above that. You know, I just, it's not perfect, but usually it works. If you've got a microwave with a keypad on it, having a rubber dot, maybe on number 5, so you can move up or down to get the others. Got something like that on my printer, and on my keyboard, I've got a lot of little rubber dots because my keyboard is underneath the desk that it's a sliding drawer underneath the desk where my computer is. And it's handy to have the dots on my keyboard so that I can feel them. I don't have to look down at the keyboard all the time if I'm typing something. Washer and dryer, I've got them on the most common cycles that I use. The dishwasher, the same thing. There are dots on the punch buttons to set the cycle when I turn on the dishwasher, and the on and off buttons. So anyway, all over the house. Anybody have any other uses that I know Diana, you've used? Used it on the microwave, yeah. Oh, on the computer on the volume, I've got them on too. Decrease volume, increase volume, mute. And if the keys are close together, you can put 2 little dots on there. And I've done that in a couple places. Heather. Right. Even if there's a dent in something that's supposed to help you, if it's on a black background, it's all black. You can't see that. I've got one on my CPAP machine. The same, there's a bar and you've got to push in the middle to turn it off. And I've got a little rubber dot there. And the TV remote. Yeah. All the remotes that we use. Yeah. And anyway, be creative and just think of all kinds of ways you can use it. There won't be enough in each little package to do all of these things, but they're easy to find. They're in Amazon. and you can get them in all different colors. I like the clear ones, but sometimes the picture framing area of Michael's or someplace or Office Max, and sometimes the hardware section at Fred Meyer will have them. But when I got tired of looking for them in those places because they didn't always have them, I went to Amazon. I would prefer to buy local, but Amazon has been great. Yeah. So anyway, rubber dots are one of my favorite things. And um, the let's see, what else was I talking about in that section? Oh, magnifiers. Yes. There are lots of different magnifiers, and I need to show you this one I've got in my hand now, which those of you online can't see. This was my great aunt's magnifying glass. She was a wonderful seamstress. And I don't remember what this plastic is. It's this yellow plastic that used to be like for dressing gown table desks, sets and mirrors and comb and stuff like that. Anyway, and it's still a really good magnifying glass. They come in all different, magnifying glasses come in all different sizes and shapes. Years ago, when I started first needing a magnifying glass, I didn't have anything that had really good glass in it. And my husband gave me this one, which he bought at one of the drafting places or someplace in town. I can't remember. And it's excellent glass. But what I found on Amazon is this shape. It's a rectangular shape, like my great aunt's. And I find that this is most useful for me, even though the glass and the resolution isn't as good. It's probably about the same magnification, but the rectangular shape is really good because you can see with both eyes in it. With a round shape, it's just not as easy to see with both eyes. And even though one of my eyes is better than the other one, and most of us are in that situation, I think, being able to see with both eyes improves what I can see with either one by itself. So this is a rectangular handheld magnifier, which I've got several of in the house. I've got in different rooms. And so anyway, but you'd have to try them to see. And they're not very expensive. You don't have to get an expensive one. They're all pretty good. Another one, because I thought I was maybe going to get back to doing some artwork, is one that is rectangular, but about 5 by 8 inches or something, quite large. And it has a plastic connector that can go around your neck. So you can work hands-free if you're doing crafts or artwork or something like that. So far, what I found out about it is that the batteries tend to come out of the battery part, because this is not only just a magnifier, but it's also a light, which is really handy if you're working on things on the table. And a lot of the magnifiers come that way with adjustable light. Okay, anyway, that just tells you a lot about how many different kinds of magnifiers there are. And there are a lot of ways to find devices like this. I mean, it's for a while I was using a headlamp for extra light. There's really good task lighting available. But it's you can look in the stores here or online. If you're visiting somebody out of state or going to Anchorage or something in large cities, there are stores that are low vision stores. I don't remember the name of them right now, but there's a place that has stores in various cities. But Amazon is a good place to look to see what's available, even if you don't buy anything there. And then you can tell somebody, well, for Christmas, I'd really like this or something like that. Um, yes, and the Alaska Center for the Blind is a good resource. It's Alaska Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. They're in Anchorage, and they do come up here periodically. Have given some talks here for Aging at Home Fairbanks. And if you make an appointment, you can get an appointment with somebody in what they call a clinic, where there's somebody here and they bring a lot of these types of devices that are helpful. And a lot of them are the newest type. I'm pretty old fashioned. I just use a plain old magnifying glass. But it's in most cases, but they've got a lot of different types of devices to and talk to you about what your particular issues are. Some of us, it's just contrast. Sometimes it's being we all have different eyes, so we need different things. And they also will make appointments to come to your home and see where you might need extra lighting in your home or something like that. So that's a good place to good resource, and their information is on this handout. And if you can always call Aging at Home Fairbanks and check on some of the stuff I'm talking about, or contact me directly. And I've already given you my information, but it's also on this list. And talking about lighting, under counter lighting in the kitchen is very important, not only because you are able to see better and feel better about what you're fixing, but for your own safety in terms of using a knife and that sort of thing. So under counter lighting, and they've got things that just 25 years ago, I had mine wired in, so it's all on a switch. But nowadays, they've got some that you can just take off the strip and stick it under your counter, and you just wave your hand under it, and the light comes on. So there are a lot of different kinds of under counter lighting now. But better lighting all over your house is very helpful. And I add there, if you have pets or are going to get pets, don't get a black pet. I had a black cat, and as he died 4 or 5 years ago, but I realized that I was not able to see him as easily anymore, inside or outside. He always found a shady place outside, and I call him and he wouldn't budge. But anyway, just be careful what's around you. And then again, this is frustrations. And if there's some place that I don't have enough light here, and you can figure out a way to put more light there, whatever you need. Okay, help with technology, because I rambled on too much about maybe the house. But one thing, technology and in the house, I have a picture which none of us can see here today, but of my computer setup. I have a laptop connected to a large monitor, which is the size of a small TV, I guess, but it's sitting right on the desk, and a magnifying glass, so that in order to read anything, I've got to use that magnifying glass on the large monitor to magnify what I'm doing even more. And a task lighting, so that if I need to read something or copy something into a document or whatever I'm writing on the computer, I have light for that too. So fix up your computer or tablet or whatever you're doing to make it easy for you to see what you want to see. One thing that, Heather? Rehabbed, yeah. Right, and they're very helpful. Green Star, and I forgot to put them on the list here. They have people who've donated computers, and monitors and things. They're available at Green Star store. I don't remember what they call it. Recycle store or something. It's not called that, but something else. And check with Green Star and ask them about it. Sorry, I forgot to put that on the list because they sell computers and monitors and anything that they get in except for Apple computers. They don't have iPads or phones or Mac computers. I guess it's a licensing thing. I'm not sure why, but they don't. And but any other kind of computer or monitor, they have rehabbed and they sell them for a very reasonable price. Or I think they even donate them sometimes if you can't afford them, or especially for an organization or something. And they're very helpful if you need some help on, I got this computer from you, but I can't make it do this. Well, you can take it in. They've got certain hours, but they're very helpful. I'm glad you mentioned that. So another thing that I found very useful, and I mentioned it early on here, that a lot of the big computer and technology companies have accessibility support desks. And I've given you the number for Apple and Microsoft on this handout. When Apple changed their iPhone version, I called them 3 different times and was very pleased. This accessibility support number gets you right to somebody who can help you. It's not being on hold for a long time. And I don't know what the hours are, but Microsoft used to have 24-hour support. I don't think they do now, but anyway, I have a long list elsewhere of accessibility support phone numbers for a lot of different phone companies and tech companies and a lot of different big companies. And that's been very useful for me. They are there to help those of us who really need help. And it's wonderful. So there was something else on that. Oh, okay. Noel Wayne Library has what they call Technology Tuesdays, and 2 Tuesdays a month. I think it's from 11 to 2. I'm not sure the hours, but call the reference desk, and there's a phone number here on this list. And you can make appointments for 20 minutes. You can walk in. You may be able to get an appointment just by walking in, but they suggest that you do call and make an appointment. Yeah. The comment here is it's from 10 to 2 and they're almost booked up through March. So that is, it would be nice if they would add more people or make it available every week. The fellow I talked to is the head of the reference section, I think, and he said he would be willing to do a talk for aging at home Fairbanks. So we're hoping to get him sometime in the next month or two. He did say that be sure if you make an appointment, tell them what kind of device you need help with. So he'll make sure that if you have a Samsung phone, he's got somebody who would be able to help you with that. So, or a Mac or a PC, whatever device you need help with. And also Aging at Home Fairbanks, as most of you probably know, has volunteers who are very helpful with IT questions. So we've got quite a few IT people now, don't we, Claire? Maybe a dozen. That's great. Yeah, that's improved. I mean, it's gotten better, I think. And so contact Aging at Home Fairbanks if you're a member and request help with IT. And somebody will come to your house generally and help you with that. I'm going to move here for a minute. Lean against this a little bit. Okay. Okay. The something else that's my favorite besides rubber dots is a tech thing. And there's an app called Seeing AI. It's made by Microsoft, which you don't need to know, but it is really good. In the last 3 or 4 years, I've used this a lot. You download it to your phone, and using the phone's camera, you point it at whatever you want to read, whether it's a whole document or just the return address on a mail that you've gotten. Do you need to open this? Whatever you are needing to read, it will read out loud to you. And it's really wonderful. It is very helpful. It will even read handwriting, not always perfectly, but it is normally pretty good. And you can also have it describe things. So if you're looking at a picture of something, a painting on the wall or something, it will describe what it's doing. And then more, because it will identify currency or people. It's very, very versatile and very easy to use, but it's something that has changed its format too lately. So had to get used to that, but it's very good. Another app for your phone is called Be My Eyes. And this is one that started, it's international. And you sign up with it with your email address and what language you speak. And you can call 24 hours a day, or not call, but just push a button on your phone. And it will call a volunteer for you. And it already knows that you want English, if that's what you put in there. And it will a volunteer, depending on who's available, somebody will answer the phone, and using the camera on your phone will help you read the label on a can. You don't know whether it's green beans or green peas, and or directions on frozen dinner or something, or what color is this, or is it going to go with that sweater, or a lot of different things they can help with. I know 2 people who are volunteers with Be My Eyes, one of right here in town. One is also an Aging at Home volunteer, Sue Royston. She's also a volunteer for Be My Eyes. And they also have some AI stuff now, which I haven't really gotten into. But what I have used with the Be My Eyes app is their long list of accessibility support numbers. And that's where I first found out about Apple and Google and Microsoft, and all these places have special accessibility support desks. And they have a long list. You can choose your favorites. It may be cleaning supplies or tech or just all kinds of things. So, soaps or whatever. They've got a lot of different categories, and you can choose your favorites just to put them in a short list. And then all you do is tap on that, and it automatically calls that accessibility number for you. So, right, ebook readers and smart speakers. So Kindle, if you've got a Kindle or other ebook reader, that will help you read. And because you can change the size of the font or the type of font, and it's really, I thought it was interesting that the iPhone and Kindle were both, I shouldn't say developed, but produced first in 2007. That was a big year for tech. And the so the Kindles are really good for the people who can still read. Wonderful. And the the Alexa devices can't read for you, but are wonderful if you can't read a clock anymore, like I can't. Uh, radio dial or something like that. And you can ask Alexa to play KUAC or what time is it or what's the temperature or add milk to my grocery list or play music, play Jacob Collier, who is one of my favorite musicians right now. And they will use Amazon Music to play music. If you want to pay for their subscription, it will give you full symphonies and full scores from movies and things like that. I just kind of like it mixed up. I haven't paid extra, so there's still lots of music available. So the Alexa devices are very nice, except when the Wi-Fi goes off, and you do need internet in order to have Alexa hear you and talk to you. And for about a week this last month, my GCI wasn't working, so it was in and out and in and out. It was really frustrating, but most of the time it's great. So what's the next one? Okay, text to speech, and different places call it different things. So the iPhone, they call it screen speak or speak screen. And it's read aloud or read out loud. I've used that to read the Daily News Miner. And for websites, there is usually, at least on my PC, I use Firefox, but I'm sure it's available in others, a reader view, which cuts out all the photos and things, makes it easier to read if you want to just read the article. But it also has an option to read out loud to you. And that is really handy. So look for that in some of the things on your computer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see, I do it automatically. How do I do that? The question was about the news miner. It's I know. Okay. If you go to the website, there are some articles that you can see right away. And if you scroll down on the right-hand side, there will be a picture of the front page of the news binder for that day. Click on that, and it will show up on the screen on kind of a black with a black background. You click on one article, it will show up on the right side of that screen. And the up above on one of the tabs is like a speaker, a little thing with two lines on it or something. Click on that, and it will then there's another little window that shows up, and when it comes to an arrow, it will be a little timer, and then it will go to an arrow. Click on the arrow once you got the arrow. It's kind of a yellow big arrow thing. Click on that, and it will start reading out loud to you. It's a weird voice, and all of these have different voices. And Microsoft has changed the voice in Word, which I don't like, but you kind of get used to that there are pros and cons about everything, right? So it's very helpful for that newspaper. And I think Anchorage Daily News uses the same program for reading out loud their paper. And a lot of the others, like New York Times and stuff like that, you can just use the web site or the browser reader view and then read out loud from that. So just play around with it or Google it and ask how to do this with that newspaper. You kind of have to sit right in front of it because there might be only because it will read one article and then I have to go to the next article. I think there are arrows there that it might just go ahead and read all the way through the articles, maybe on that page. I haven't tried that, but that's definitely something I ought to look into. Yeah. Ooh, okay. I'm talking a lot. Sorry. Okay, audiobook type things. The library, as you know, has CDs in the library that you can borrow, but also they've got an app called Libby that they you can check with the reference desks about how to sign up for that. You don't have to wait till Tech Tuesday. Anytime you can walk into the reference desk and ask how to set up Libby. The Alaska Center for the Blind can help you get set up with the National Library, which does talking books, which they call BARD, and you can either get the little cassette reader and they'll send you tapes, or you can download an app on your phone or computer, I suppose. Audio books are also available with audible.com, and it's a monthly subscription, but the books are discounted. And another organization like that is chirp.com, CHIRP, which has really good deep discounts with their monthly deals. And I've gotten a lot of books from them. Okay. Okay. Let me go to finding devices because we talked about it, magnifiers and things like that. As I said, I use Amazon a lot just to look for particular things to find out what's available, whether I'm going to buy anything or not, or buy it from Amazon. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but that is a good way to find out what's available. You can search for low vision and all sorts of stuff comes up. One thing that I've got, which I don't think I've mentioned, is a little keyboard, which I thought, I realized that sometimes on my phone, most things I can dictate. My finger, I can't type on the phone, and the flat pad just doesn't work for me. So I can dictate, but if you've got to put in a password, there's no option to dictate. You can dictate your ID, but you can't dictate your password. So I thought, okay, there's got to be a way to do this. And I just, in Amazon, looked for iPhone keyboard or something like that. And I found an iPhone keyboard, which is really, when it looks small, but it is about the same size as a regular keyboard, but without the number pad on the side. And this folds in half. It's really advertised or promoted as something that is for people going to meetings. So it's very small. Somebody can be in a meeting and be typing without a big keyboard and stuff. So, and it connects by Bluetooth to your phone or to your computer, tablet, whatever. It's really kind of cute, but it really works. That's something that I found on Amazon. It's that I didn't know I needed, really, and didn't know it was even available. And there were several different types. So finding things that on Amazon works. Alaska Center for the Blind can help you with devices, what might be particularly useful for you. In large cities, there are stores that are low vision stores, and I'm not sure, I meant to look this up, and I've seen them. I know in St. Paul, was with my sister and we visited one, and they've got a lot of things there. And then catalogs that you can probably get online. Some of the companies that provide some of the devices that you see in Amazon may have their own catalogs. So that is something good to know. How do I find these things? And transportation, I'll talk about a little bit. I don't know how many of you are not driving at this point. I know everybody in the room is driving, but and we did a talk on that about a month or two ago, and just want to mention that there's a Van-Tran. You have to apply for that, but it's part of the borough bus system. They come out to at least it's, I think, up to 3/4 of a mile from the last bus stop, because it doesn't go all the way out to Farmers Loop and Chena Ranch and stuff. And the rides are only $2 a piece. So they'll get you from where you are into town or around town. Aging at Home Fairbanks has volunteers who drive. The Fairbanks Senior Center has a van that runs, I think, from something like 7 to 1 or something like that. Call the front desk at the senior center and they can arrange to put you on the list. There are taxi cabs, of course, in Fairbanks. There are also Uber and Lyft, what's called rideshare. And there's an organization called GoGo Grandparent that can get you a ride on Uber or Lyft. If you do it yourself, you've got to do it on an app on your phone. If you are not comfortable using the apps on your phone, GoGo Grandparent is a good thing. It's a membership, but you can talk to a real person. They'll order the vehicle for you, tell you who's driving it, what the license plate number is, and actually kind of track it to where you're going, just to make sure that they took you to the right place. So it's a good option. And that's what they set it up for, is for people who didn't use the app on their phone. But here in Fairbanks, there are people who don't get internet. And so if that's the case, then this would be a good option too, because you get to talk to a real person. So the organizations. Okay, organizations and online resources. We talked a little bit about online resources. Organizations, the Alaska Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired in Anchorage is a good place to contact. And Aging at Home Fairbanks, we have a low vision group that meets on Zoom every month. Right now, it's the first Wednesday of the month. And that's something I started once COVID. We were all at home with COVID, and I started this, and it's really been interesting that we don't usually have speakers. We just share frustrations and successes. And it's a good way just to stay in touch with other folks who have problem seeing things. And it's not just for Aging at Home members. My sister in the Midwest joins us most times because she has macular degeneration as well. And I've got a friend in California who joins, and there's several people in Fairbanks who are not AAH members. We would like them to be, but anybody who is interested in joining us once a month just for informal conversation about all kinds of things, including our vision, contact Aging at Home Fairbanks or myself. And again, I told you my information before, and it's on the list here so we can add more people. So pretty much that's online resources. There are organizations, OE.org, which is ophthalmicedge.org, has a lot of good information, especially if you're beginning to lose your vision. There's one group of videos, I think, where they talk about getting used to what the changes are and how to handle them, as well as, I think that was I found that good list of accessibility support phone numbers too from them, as well as from Be My Eyes. So there's lots to talk about, obviously. I'm sorry we didn't have pictures to look at today, but if you are interested in rubber dots for your cabinet doors or your keyboard or microwave or whatever, let me know and I'll be glad to send some to you, or we'll figure out a way to get them to you. Samples so you can try them. Oh, Claire said she could keep some at the office too. Her office is here in the senior center. So that's great. Any questions online maybe, or anything? Anybody here have any other questions? How do I use my phone? Yes, I do. Sorry about that. Got loud. I use Dictate a lot with my phone because I can't type. So if you get a text message from me, some of the times if I respond to somebody's text message, it will ask if I want to respond, and I say yes out loud, and it will let me do that, but not put in punctuation. So some of the text messages I send are really weird. And let me say too that Siri will do some of that for you. Ask Siri to send a text to so-and-so. She'll say, what do you want to say? And I think she'll do emails too. I'm not sure, but there are a lot of things that Siri will do. For instance, to open an app, if you can't find it easily on your phone, just say, Siri, open the Seeing AI for me. Open Seeing AI, and she'll open the app for you. So Siri can do a lot. Very helpful. So thank you.